All right. Take 2. This is blue-white Emeria control. Emeria the Skyroom is a land that says, at the beginning of your upkeep, if you control 7 or more planes, you may return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. So this is intended to be a very long, grindy deck, because obviously we're trying to get to 8+ lands in play. They got a bunch of cards like Wall of Omens, and Charming Prince, and Thraben Inspector, and Path to Exile to stunt early aggression out of opponents. And then, eventually, you live long enough to get up to Sun Titan, which is the card that you ultimately recur. Charming Prince is a sweet new card for this deck out of Eldraine. Previously, they had played Lone Missionary, which just gained 4 life. So this is a card that provides some life gain like Lone Missionary when you need it. But when you in a matchup where you don't need a life gain, you can scry 2. You can also, when you Sun Titan, you can bring Charming Prince back, and Charming Prince can then blink the Sun Titan and then get back something else as well, which is sweet. This deck, in my experience, tends to have some pretty polarizing matchups. Because of things like your main deck Charming Princes, you tend to be reasonable against you can be reasonable against aggressive decks that play to your health total, like Burn. And because of Emeria, you tend to be reasonable against mid-range and control decks like Jund and other blue-white decks. The place where we're likely to struggle are faster combo decks that don't really care about Path to Exile in terms of interaction. We have 4 copies of Dovin's Veto in the 75 and some Damping Spheres, but that's still kind of light on interaction overall as far as this format's concerned. Sure. This deck also tends to be reasonable against decks where Supreme Verdict has text, but if an opposing deck is not playing creatures and doesn't care about this card, there's a good chance we're going to struggle. Thanks for keeping on with the Tier 1 Sub-Pterodactyl. Welcome back. In general, we only need 1 blue source, and we want to try and get to 7 planes eventually, so we're going to fetch planes very aggressively so we can turn our Emeria on ASAP. Ornithopter tends to imply not Urza. Chief Engineer, sure. So it's looking like this is going to be a matchup where Supreme Verdict has text, like we said. So that's exciting. Looks like they're playing blue steel. It's too early for Zach Elsick to be awake, I think. But somewhere he has his spider senses tingling, I feel. This was like his baby for a while. Alright, well, I mean, storm count was 5 there. There's a lot of stuff. Walking Ballista, sure. Hey, Pasta. Thanks for doling out some sub-gifties. Hope you're having a good one wherever you are. Let me know if there's something in the deck queue you'd like to bump up or see a little bit sooner with that. Oh, we got an Alt Art Teferi. That's nice. Bump up Jeskai Fires will do. The top one specifically. Thanks for the support. Sure. Uh-oh. Hold on. It's a pretty good last one to have.
They start an hour later today, and
I forgot, yeah.
well, because they usually give us we usually get a robot call that reminds us. I had it on my calendar, so I just assumed I was wrong when they didn't call, and so did the other 9 kids at our bus stop.
This attack is about to be so big that Moto has crashed. So, enjoy the sponsor page. For those of you that are newer to Magic and maybe got started with Arena, you should just know that Wizards of the Coast has a long, colorful history with making software that's not particularly stable. Yeah, I don't know if this attack is lethal to us, but it's definitely lethal to Moto. It's definitely lethal to Moto. I think we're dead. I think the Walking Ballista means we're dead here. Because I have to... I wasn't going to be dead to the Walking Ballista before, but now I have to path this Lodestone Golem so I can Supreme Verdict on 4. Yeah, so I'm taking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And then this is going to be, so that's 9. And then if they get overly aggressive here, maybe I don't die. You think they're just going to try and kill me? And, like, when I go to path this, I'm just going to be dead is the issue. Yep. And I assume they're going to leave Lodestone Golem up here. This is 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And then they have 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, we're actually just dead. And that's like a really good example of the problem with this deck is we talked about our matches where we have a chance are the ones where like our Supreme Verdict has text. And a lot of the decks where Supreme Verdict has text in Modern are literally going to kill you before you can cast it, right? Like this was my opponent's 3rd turn in the draw. I didn't live to get to play Supreme Verdict turn 4 while I was on the play. And just like a great showing of like one of the problems with why this archetype's kind of slow and clunky. Like this, in a perfect world, should be a pretty ideal matchup. And we're still going to struggle. I guess I bring in the Spyglass. I'll leave in a 8-time Raveler. Have a good one, King Tower. Emeria was almost my first Modern deck, and then I built 8 Rack instead. Ah! A player of off the beaten path, I see. McDoulian, thanks for the 16 months. I appreciate it. Welcome back. Hope you're having a good one. All right. We've got some blockers. We don't have a turn 4 sweeper. We've got some early plays. This is like a turn 6 sweeper, technically. Can overload this bad Mamma Jamma. Morning, T-Master. Howdy, Nox. Oh no! Our one weakness, chat. They're going over our heads. Something like that, Grief. I just sleeve up what the people pay me to sleeve up. Moto is really not happy this morning. Really not happy this morning. These people are great. Buy their stuff. Yeah, Moto is vehemently against and the reason why I put the sponsor screen up when Moto crashes is because Magic Online lacks two-factor authentication, which means you can brute force logging into an account. So if you know how many characters are in my password, it makes it easier to brute force my account, which is not ideal. And it doesn't auto log in like Magic Arena does. So no two-factor, no auto login. So if I log in after a crash on stream, it makes it easier for my account to get broken into. Yeah, Moto can't just give up its title as laggiest. Woof. This is pretty peak Magic, right? Like kept 2-lander on the play, drew 2 extra cards, missed my 3rd land on 3. MN, thanks for doling out some sub-gifties. Happy Wednesday to you. Let me know if there's something you'd like to add with that or something you'd like to bump up. They really tried to help the performance of Arena by lowering the effects on release. Yeah, exactly. Huh. This card seems really good. Can we add those Assault Kefnet? We definitely can. Fun fact, my stream title for today has so many decks in it that it is literally the character limit at the moment for how long a Twitch stream title can be. Alright, took a hot second, but we got there. What am I looking for at this point? I think it's just a Detention Sphere, but I'm also going to need a blue source, right? Am I just scrying 2, or do I want to draw a card? Drawing a card's probably better than scrying 2. What's photosynthesis play like? It's a resource management game. Up to 4 players. Well, if they pop off with this turn, we're gonna really need a Emeria is a card in the mana base, Sunshine. that's in the lands. It is a land that brings creature from your discard pile back into play when you have 7 or more planes. So the goal of this deck is ideally to be a little bit long and grindy. Yep. As non-artifact spells cost 1 more. And all of these cards are being played off the top of my opponent's deck with this Mystic Forge. They still have 3 cards in their hand. Karma Trooper, thank you for the half of your support. I appreciate that. Welcome back. This gives their artifact spells Convoke. This makes their artifact spells cost 1 less, so opponent's basically storming off here. Yeah, we have our background singer this morning. I actually just sent messages to more new contractors. My goal is to get the stream room done by next summer, so that way we won't have air conditioner hum or cicadas in the background next summer. But for the last couple weeks, those things are going to exist this year. We're just going to have to live with it. We're just super dead, right? Just can't win. Like, all my spells cost 2 more. I'm missing land drops. I don't have a Supreme Verdict to play to, even if I had it in my hand. Feels bad, man. Yeah, they're kind of white noisy. It's not the worst noise. It's definitely better than some others. It's not like it's a lawnmower, right? They don't even have affinity cards. Kind of. The number of Twitch streams that I like want to watch the deck people are playing, but then like their music hits like 3 or 4 terrible songs in a row, and I'm just like, no, I just can't do it. I just like open Netflix or watch someone else. Thanks for taking the time to fill out the subsurvey, Anaphylectic. I do care. There's a lot of different content that I enjoy making, so I just like to make sure that my content aligns with what the people who keep me around want to see. Yeah, the cicadas aren't as consistent. In a perfect world, we would have been done with the air conditioning unit by now. Is today the day it finally breaks, or is it another 80-degree day? Today's hopefully the last day we'll hear. Today's hopefully the last day we'll hear AC hum. We're supposed to get up to 80 again today, and then 67, 64, 70. What's the 10-day look like? Yeah. Hopefully today will be the last day. Is that Teamer Super Friends deck you posted the Firebow one in the title or something else? That's something else. The Teamer Super Friends deck was just me building food shells. It was, believe it or not, after I stream Magic for like 10 hours, the thing that I do is think about Magic some more in between other things. What's that in real temperature? I'm not sure how Fahrenheit converts to Kelvins offhand. I'd have to get out the calculator. Yeah, there's probably some kind of, I think there's a good aggro deck with what's it called in it? The Royal Scions. The Royal Scions is like a pretty sweet card in general. I built Izzet Phoenix for ELD Standard, but I haven't been enjoying it. I know Standard is still in flux, but do you have any recommendations for Standard deck that's fun and reasonably competitive for the next couple weeks? Yeah, you can, if you go on my website, just jeffhoagland.com or mtgesports.net, etc. There's a whole bunch of decks on the Standard decks page at this point. I think I'm up to 6 on there already. So the standard decks page on my website, I add decks as we play ones that seem sweet and competitive, and I remove ones when we play them and they don't seem very reasonable anymore up there. And those are all living pages. I figure out other things that should be in them. I tend to update, etc. We've not played any Innkeeper decks yet. They're definitely on the list of things that seem good though. A bunch of MPL members submitted Innkeeper decks this week. They have Courser of Crufix. That's pretty punishing for the fact that I just burned this right away. I think Merchant of the Veil will make Phoenix in Modern again. I mean, people are posting 5-0 lists without Merchant of the Veil, so I don't think that card can hurt the archetype. I've played Frisbee golf before. It's not something that I do on the regular. Yeah, Reed Duke is playing a white-green one, and there are a couple of green-black ones in the... Yeah, that's the MPL. Primal Command. Oh, that's gross. So they put my land back on top of my deck, and they get to go find a Primeval Titan here, I assume. And then, like... Again, like, I've got these kind of expensive cards in my hand. Like, what... How do I actually win this game from here, right? Like, this Primeval Titan, like, I have a path for the Primeval Titan, but the Primeval Titan's probably going to get, like, Field of the Dead, or just even if it just gets more Valakuts. Like, I path it, that gets them a mountain. So, like, how do I actually win the game from here through their rare land is more powerful than our rare land in the abstract. Ooh, traversing for Merchant sounds hot. Yeah, there was a Teamer Phoenix build with traversing it for a hot second. Yeah, that's a snow-covered mountain, so I assume we're about to get Field of the Dead here. Like snow-covered forest, Field of the Dead. I don't think I can beat either of these cards. So it's like, no, yeah, just a bunch of Valakuts. So, like, without the ability to race, and if you look at this deck list, it doesn't really have the ability to race in a situation like this. You know, we mentioned the matchups where Supreme Verdict doesn't have text are going to be a real struggle for this archetype, and this is a matchup where Supreme Verdict very much does not have a text box. Every land drop just deals 6 from here. I think every matchup might be a struggle for the I don't think that's strictly true. I think you have a good shot against Burn. I think you have a good shot against, like, Jund and probably other blue-white decks. I would venture to guess we have a number of bad matchups in the format, though, yes. I think saying every matchup is a stretch, but many is probably accurate. I'm going to board in a bunch of Remorseful Clerics as 2/1s that attack. It's not particularly exciting, but it's honest work.
Daddy,
Yes, youngest son.
when my coins won't that where all the pikes are.
How did it get in there? playing with his toys. Playing with his toys in the hallway. And one of them rolled under the door into the room with the hot water heater and the furnace. The room with the pipes, as the 4-year-old described. All right, 1-2 into 2-1. You got our, now that we've established our clock here, we can give him the beatdowns. My best way to describe my level of enjoyment for the current standard format is after streaming 8, 10, 12, 15 hours in a day, the thing I frequently find myself doing after I'm done streaming for the day is playing more Magic and thinking about more Magic. So you could probably say that I'm unhealthily engaged. Rotation is Christmas, as we've been saying. It comes once per year, and it's a new and exciting time. Yeah. I actually played a couple of matches with the Grixis Alliance deck more off-stream last night. I ended up, I updated the list on my site, too. I ended up shoving a bunch of copies of Unmoored Ego in the sideboard, so I think you need Unmoored Ego to beat the field decks. Yeah, the adventure mechanic might be the best mechanic that they've printed in years. It's very, very well done. I don't even know if smaller equals healthier is necessarily true. So much as just like... And the other thing I'd like to point out is, like, we don't even know if, like, calling the standard format healthy is accurate. We just know it's different, so it's exciting because it's different. Like, to let my pessimist show for a moment... The standard format could suck. We just won't know if it sucks yet for a little bit. And thankfully it's going to take us a little while to figure out if that's the case. And that's okay. Yeah, we don't know. That's a good way to describe it, Rook. We don't know if the answer we're going to get at the end is the answer we want, but we do know that it's fun to work our way towards that answer. I do think that, like, Golo's Field is probably the deck to beat. I know this is off topic, but I was watching a VOD where you said government decisions should be decided by duels with pistols. I personally think we should go the other Hamilton route and have all Senate decisions made through rap battles. Oh, good. It's that other card I can't beat. You know how Control decks in Standard can never beat Field of the Dead? The same thing applies to Modern. That's why they're playing a copy of this card. Yeah, I think Golo's Field is currently very underplayed for how good it is in the format. And I think that as that changes, a lot of people will enjoy the format a lot less, unfortunately. But we'll see. Maybe that's not the case. Maybe that deck's actually not that good. But I do know that this card pushes a lot of things out of the format. So maybe Questing Beast is like the droid we're looking for. Because, like, if you're blue-black, you can Unmoored Ego them, or if you're green, you can Questing Beast them. So, like, maybe that's enough. One could hope. Mizuro, M0Z, thank you for the 7 months. Welcome back. It's like playing another Titan. Yeah, they are. Chat, I think their Titan and their Zendikar land are better than our Titan and our Zendikar land. What do you think? The jury might still be out, but I think there's a small chance that we're playing the wrong Titan Zendikar land deck. Yeah, honestly, I feel like Hushbringer not turning off... I feel like Hushbringer not turning off lands entering the battlefield was a bit of a miss. Like, I feel like they definitely could have done that. Instead of just having it be creatures enter and die effects, they could have had it just been all permanents. I can't wait for Valakut 2, the Electric Boogaloo, and Zendikar. We already went back to Zendikar without a Valakut reprint, right? So, I think it's probably safe to assume that's not happening again. Now, I don't think Eternal Formats has to do with WotC being afraid to interact with lands. I think the reason why we don't see a lot of things that interact with lands is because powerful cards that interact with lands create miserable games of Magic. Cards like Wasteland create more non-games than they solve. Hey, we've made it into the Sigarda's aid bracket, chat. That probably bodes well for us. Auras and equipments cast as though they had flash. When equipment enters the battlefield under your control, you may attach a target creature. You're about to get hammered. Yeah, I was actually thinking about that last night. The fact that Ravager Worm exists in Standard and can't kill Field of the Dead is such a massive design failure. Like that's such a mistake. The part where they just like hammer, hammer, kill us. Friendo. I don't know about letting it destroy strictly non-basics. Just because, like, the amount of ramp we have in Standard is kind of crazy. Alright, so... I'm gonna Prince Charming. I'm gonna scry 2, I think. I don't think I'm really in for either of those. I think we're just going bottoms here. Just like want more removal spells. Want to keep their creatures off the table, basically. The most awkward part about Moto not supporting a Twitch extension is the fact that there's already an in-game log for Moto. And to make a Twitch extension possible, basically all they would need to do is dump this in-game log to a text file that we could access. And then third-party developers could do it just like they did for Arena. Core Outfitter. You may attach target equipment you control, target creature you control. Alright. You've been outfitted with a hammer. Sounds way too hard to implement. Yeah, something like that. So what, Cherry? What does that have to do with the price? What does that have to do with the price of tea and, you know, anywhere else? That is, how is that relevant to my statement? Does that make my statement invalid? If no, why bring it up? Don't let perfect be the enemy of good. Is a good life lesson in general. Well, they're almost up to 8 lands to equip this hammer. Yeah, that's a Batter Skull. Alright, so we have to play Ranger-Captain here. And go fetch up a friend. Probably don't mind having a fog for later. I'll block just in case they have a hammer. Well, I guess I could veto a hammer. So... Oh, that's awkward. I was going to say... This lets me veto their Batter Skull on the way back down, but that's not really the case. Because I don't have a second blue. Don't let perfect be the enemy good is the first thing they taught in my engineering class. Yep. What happens in an ideal world and what actually gets done in reality are different. We get a land at least, so we get to Sun Titan back some stuff now. So we're going to have, like, endless blockers at this point. So my opponent's deck was kind of slow and mopey, so we're going to have a chance to do our thing. Perfect also costs a lot more than good enough in the corporate world. Yep. Yep. Alright, so Sun Titan is going to get back Charming Prince. Charming Prince is going to blink Sun Titan. Sun Titan's going to come back into play, and it's going to get Flooded Strand. So we can start working towards 7 planes here. Slow. Slow and steady. Are you ready? Stoneforge is ready. There's no more bone crushers in these decks. There's oh no. Yikes. Are we dead? Is that lethal? I wasn't expecting a sort of protection from me. I could have sacked this in response to the Stoneforge trigger. This is 8. We're going to 1 here, right? Well, we lost the mono white equipment deck. I don't know if I have the will to go on. I don't know if I have the will to go on. When I saw this deck list, I thought, this looks sweet. It must suck. I regret using my precognition on a children's card game. Yeah. Yeah, this is one. This archetype has a lot of fans out there. We definitely, this one gets submitted a good deal. Well, probably. I like to play archetypes like this every once in a while. Just so like, especially when they get a new card. So that way, like, when I say no to them the next time, there's, like, a video where I can point to and be like, this is why we don't play this. Yeah, I don't think we've ever played this deck and had it do well. We definitely played it. This is probably the third or fourth time in the last few years. Alright, we have Time Raveler. Sure. To bounce their Stoneforge Mystic. In. Poor little cricket. The cricket's not mocking us, he just feels bad for us. Can I ever beat this card? I guess I have a couple copies of Stony Silence, huh? Yeah, it's Moto Alt Art, 3 mana Teferi. They do a lot of Moto exclusive artworks. Wonder if they'll do that for Arena at some point. I am not currently accepting Brawl decks. So, from my understanding, Brawl's just going to be best of one. I'm not a huge fan, personally, of best of one Magic. So, I think my plan is, as long as I am engaged in both standard and historic, and I'm filling my content with those two things, I'm not currently planning to branch out into Brawl. Oh, this is the Japanese altar art. That makes sense. I forgot they did a bunch of those. It has the Moto set symbol, so I assumed it was a Moto exclusive, but you're right. There are a bunch of Japanese altar art exclusives. Multiplayer formats would be the worst if they're best of 3. Well, I mean, Brawl on Arena is not multiplayer. I don't think. I wouldn't expect multiplayer to ever come to Arena, I think is the likely answer. Playing Simic Flash and my opponent plays Knight of the Ebon Legion. How am I supposed to win? Die? The non-sarcastic answer is probably race them. But it's still not a particularly good scene for you. I guess I just take this 3-3. My opponent's literally done nothing other than cast Stoneforge Mystic this game, so maybe we're gonna get on the scoreboard finally. Is this it? Is this the chosen game? Oh no! That lets them equip the sword I could never beat. Yikes. Yikes. I thought with Stony Silence we were in the clear. They said an update they were planning for multiplayer. No, what they said was on the long list of features that they didn't even have on their roadmap yet, they wrote down multiplayer to appease the people who keep asking, are you thinking about multiplayer? So if you read between the lines and understand where on the graphs that was listed, you'll understand that it's like the furthest thing from reality that you could possibly have. If you're referring to the state of the game update in which they posted that. No, same match, Tom. What was it? I think it was Bob or Jin that said it best. The things that were listed on that thing basically means like Tina wrote it down on a whiteboard while they were all brainstorming in a session one day. Nothing's been coded, nothing practical is likely going to come of it. Who's got two thumbs is about to die to this sort of war and peace. This guy right here. Has Modern changed a lot since the bannings? Don't really keep up with it. The amount of graveyard hate present has changed a small bit, but at the core, the format's still the format. To give you a nice glimpse into it, we played Neoform yesterday, and I think we killed our opponent on turn 1 in like 5 or 6 games. Oh look, yeah, we're playing a combo deck. Forgot about that. I was like, oh, I could draw a card. Nope, that's not the case. Should have gotten the fog creature. The Faithless Looting ban does give me hope that maybe they're going to manage the format a little bit. So that's potentially exciting. Hey, look. It's another 1-2 for 2. Or for 1. Let's get this out of my hand so I die slightly more slowly to the sword. I actually agree with Garth here. I think part of the reason why Brawl is going to be best of 1 focused is because it's intended to be a more casual format, and that's fine. That's fine, right? There are plenty of people that are going to enjoy the format as best of 1. If you're someone that's like saving wild cards or you have currency unspent, Jin, someone who wanted to be malicious and rude to you could go in and cause you value lost, basically. Did they announce no best of 3 for Brawl? I don't think specifically. Well, selling a stocked account isn't really a thing because you could recover an account that's tied to you that you created, that you have purchase receipts for. Is this deck as spicy as it looks? Depends on your definition of spicy. We currently have not won a game, and we are about to lose game 2 to mono white core. All right, I'm done with this one. Let's get to standard early, and maybe we'll have time to play the teamer deck I tweeted last night too. It's spicy in the sense that it hurts. Yeah, we didn't win a game with this. I don't think that's a coincidence. I think this archetype's both very clunky and slow, and I also think that it's not doing anything inherently powerful, and when it goes off, the ultimate payoff isn't all that exciting. So modern pet deck's gonna modern pet deck. Would you believe that my friend Benjamin convinced me to accept this deck? I bet you'd believe that. Because it was definitely my friend Benjamin that talked me into it. Alright, let's take a quick ad break and then we're gonna dive on into a long day of standard. Thanks for hanging out, folks.